Hello and welcome to episode 98 of the FPL Hangover podcast, where we raise the bar and lower the tone of things FPL related. This week, folks, it's kind of similar to last week in the sense that we're taking a bit more of an eagle-eyed view at a specific game week, where we usually just, review the previous one and preview the one coming up. But this week, with the whole situation fixture wise and the game week starting on Tuesday, we said fuck it, we're going to do our game week 19 review right now. We're both kind of gagging for a bit of game week 19 anyway. Maybe that's something to do with our free hits, but we are recording this in the 10th of January, so if we fuck it up, hopefully you forgive us. And speaking of us, my podcast partner in crime, Seamus, how are you getting on, my friend?
I'm doing awesome.
How
are you?
I'm good. As I said, we're doing the game week 19, double game week 19 review right now, but I'm excited for this game week. It's probably the first one of the year where it's going to sort out a little bit of the wheat from the chaff. Or am I being too optimistic there, Seamus? Should I be preparing to be chaff right now?
I think there's gains to be made this week. I said it before, on Twitter, on this podcast. You don't have to free hit this week. Some people can get away with like 6, 7, 8 players. If you have the main players like De Bruyne, Fernandez, Son, players like this, or Kane. If you have like 2 or 3 of those players, you're probably fine. But there is large gains to be made if you can get into like triple city. Whether you've got 2 attackers or 2 defenders. Whatever way you're structuring it, you could really pull away and catch up on people who the casuals. We kind of talk about on Twitter. Everyone's going to free hit this week, but it's probably going to be actually a small
That's
percentage.
That's the reality of it, isn't it? Really, it's like that. It is a small percentage. I think when you surround yourself with FPL news and content, it's just you can feel like you're part of something bigger, which is great. I think that's kind of one of the big positives of the FPL community, but realistically, it's it's a lot smaller than you might think it is. And game week 19 is going to hopefully show a bit of that contrast. But we're both approaching this very similarly. I think we're both going to we've prepped our teams a little bit. We're going to walk into game week 19 head held high and use no chips. Am I right in saying that? I know you're still debating things, Seamus, but sorry,
In
19.
19, I may coming into 19, I may triple captain, but that's not decided. I'll decide closer. If there's likely to be there's likely to be games postponed, and we still see, Aston Villa have had a COVID outbreak, and there is doubts over their game week 18 game against Spurs. If there's doubts about one of their game week 19 games, if other games are potentially, if I think any of City's games might be delayed, if I was going to do my triple captain, it would be on De Bruyne
You're
at
just
that
baiting
week.
sure everything, Seamus.
So we'll
You
see.
fucking keep your dick in your pants, and we'll get through the show professionally. Your captain, fucking 18, 19. You're going crazy right now. Just breathe, and we'll just discuss 19 like it's a nirvana. Yeah. So I think the first thing to look at when you're looking at double game week 19 is most people, fixtures. It's one of those times where fixtures tend to attract the eye a lot more than form coming into a double game week, because you usually have a bit of notice. You're looking at it on the horizon constantly, so form isn't really at the forefront of your brain, for me anyway. I mean, obviously a little bit, but a lot of the time you're directly focused on those fixtures. And I think that's probably the easiest place to start. Seamus, what fixtures have taken your fancy for the double game week 19? I mean, I'll start with mine, I suppose. West Ham, obvious. I mean, that's the first team that most FPL managers are going to be going for. High five if you're West Ham in it right there. I think Burnley at home, West Brom at home, easily the nicest 2 fixtures of the double game week. So yeah, West Ham, Seamus, hit me with some West Ham facts. You've been prepping.
West Ham facts. Well, it is a fact that my transfer in game week 17 was to bring in Cresswell who got 11 points, and set up Souček, who also got 11 points. So I have both those players in my team for Game Week 19. And if now that West Ham have seemingly sold
Is it
Sebastian
seemingly?
Haller,
I assume
if I get any inkling,
that was done.
I believe it's done. Well, it got the here we go from what's that guy's name? I
Fabrizio
can't remember the
Romano.
guy's name. The guy who's Fabrizio Romano, yes. So he got the here we go treatment. I don't know whether the deal has been finalized, but for like if that has not yet been confirmed, because I haven't been on Twitter and I'm not on West Ham
Or
forums
the general sports
at all.
news.
So yeah, look, there's a lot of stuff going on. All I hear in the news is COVID, so I try not to watch the news. But look, that's seemingly done. So yeah, then if there's any inclination that Antonio is going to start either of these two games, he's going to be somebody that's going to be really
Yeah,
tempting to
I
get in
was a
for
bit
that
tongue
game.
in cheek when I mentioned West Ham at the start, but I mean, they genuinely, I do think they have the strongest fixtures
No,
of the double game week. Yeah.
genuine.
But is it concerning you that maybe West Ham have been kind of, I suppose, how would you put this? Like overperforming? Is that the technical term? I mean, if you look at the no, yeah, I'm not.
No, it doesn't concern me. I think they're good. I just think they're not good, man. Jeez, I don't want to get too hyperbolic about this. Um, I just don't think they're bad. They're kind of perform. They actually
Yeah.
have good players, but for years they had like a good squad and they just did nothing, and they used to fall apart, and that's why they were in a void. But you look at their players and you go, they actually got some players here like Felipe Anderson. Okay, I know he's not getting in the team now, but he's actually a sort of player you can totally imagine going
You
to
say not getting
some
in the
Italian
team now.
team. I
He's
don't know,
off
Lazio.
he's on loan since the start of the season, isn't he?
But that's why they got rid of him because last season he did nothing. But you can totally see him being
Yes,
successful
sorry, yeah.
elsewhere. I think it's more of a fit to the club. So like players like that, Yarmolenko is actually a good player and would do well in a lot of teams. He's had his injury problems. Antonio's a good player. Okay, Sebastian Haller we only saw for the first time last season. He has moments. He's probably not good enough for the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like his abilities don't probably suit West Ham anyway. So he's gone to Ajax. Yeah, but like they actually have a good squad and they've got good players, and I think they're not overperforming. I think they're just performing, and I think they will finish the season eighth or ninth in the league, and I think that's probably a reflection of how good their
I think
squad is.
you're on the money, Seamus. I think the squad as a whole looks a lot stronger this year. You did touch on the two bigger kind of assets, FPL wise at least, in regards to West Ham, which is Cresswell and Souček. Now, I mean, Souček being the price, I don't know what price he is specifically now. I think he's 5.1. I got him at 4.9. He could be 5.1 right now, but he's just like he is exactly what people were kind of predicting he might be at the start of the season. A lot of people jumped in on him, and I think West Ham's fixtures were so dire at the beginning of the 2020 season that for me, I stayed off him, but I got right in as soon as their fixtures cleared up. I got right back on Souček, and now he has a salad named after him. So I mean, I'm pretty happy to be sitting there with Souček in my team. Cresswell, you have, I don't have. I have a bit of, who's that cheap defender that I have? Some of Seamus came off the bench for me. Kufal. I have a bit of Kufal. Yeah.
Yes, Val.
So I'm not missing out on West Ham, but realistically, Burnley and West Brom, considering Antonio's very recent injury issues, like I'm not looking at any more than those two. Are you?
I'm
Yeah.
happy with the two I have, and if I'm going to, I've got one free transfer this week. Well, sorry, I'm going to have one free transfer for Game Week 19 because I'm playing the free hit in Game Week 18. So one free transfer, I'm going to try and get in a Man City defender because I don't have a Man City defender. So I think I'm going to have to just prioritize that. But I wouldn't put people off going taking hits.
Would you put
I
them off
have
taking hits
Shea
for West
Adams.
Ham defenders or players?
Not for Antonio, not
Really?
necessarily. Or not for something like Cresswell. I
Well,
don't think so.
Antonio and Cresswell are very different. Like
Like
Cresswell's
if
been on a bit of form and has been, obviously pretty nailed on for every match, but Antonio injuries and whatnot.
And so, yeah, the injury doubt is a big thing. I mean, the reason I'm saying I wouldn't put anyone in taking a hit for a West Ham player if we're not specifying a player here, is they have a good run of fixtures afterward. They play Crystal Palace away in game week 20. Okay, yeah, then they've got a tough game against Liverpool at home. But after that, it's away Villa, Fulham, Sheffield United. Okay, again, Villa, pretty tough. We're talking Sheffield United home, Fulham away, and Crystal Palace away in 3 of their next 5. Those are good fixtures for a team that's been playing well. Like Moyes has got them all pulling in the one direction. He's, his second season since he's returned to them now. And yeah, they're just kind of good this year. They're kind of good. They're not amazing, but I saw a lot of people bench Sushek and Sufal and Cresswell and stuff like that this week and get lucky to get their points off the bench. I brought in Cresswell this week. I saw them against Everton. I was like, this is a good game for West Ham player for West Ham.
Yeah,
at least
I
with
mean,
defenders.
I would have a little bit of an issue with their games against Crystal Palace, Liverpool, and Aston Villa after the double game week, but you've already got your 11-pointer from Cresswell. So
Palace,
as far as I'm concerned, yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. I'm not going to go into too much fucking overthinking it. I think West Ham have shown so far this season that their form, is very rarely dropping. We kind of know what to expect from them. So yeah, Burnley, West Brom, both home matches. I'm very happy for the likes of Souček, the likes of West Ham defender Cresswell being the premium. I think you can also look at the likes of Kufal. Balbuena, if I'm correct, lost his spot. Yeah, he lost his spot.
Yeah, last 2 games he's lost his spot. So, yeah, I wouldn't feel confident getting Dawson in though. He could easily lose his spot again. Ogbonna is nailed and he's a goal threat. I can't believe we started talking about double game week 19 without we started talking.
Why the fuck not?
They are not the team we should, because they're the one team. Yes, they probably have the best fixtures with Burnley and West Brom, but like Man City is the team we should be talking about.
You're right.
Let's not beat around the bush. They also have 2 home games, 2 great games. Although you could argue Aston Villa is no longer a great game. It's
fair enough. I mean, you're right. Maybe we should have started off on some of the big boys. I think a little bit of me just wanted to start this off with a bit more common sense and how we approach it. And I know that from my point of view, the first thing that happened when the double game week was announced was the fixture being updated, and I looked at it and went, oh look, West Ham have the nicest fixtures. Now at the time, City had 1 fixture. That's the big one, So maybe I'm a little biased here because I made a couple of moves that we will get onto later on. But you're not wrong. City have a fucking delectable pair of home matches against Crystal Palace and Villa, and you're right, Villa isn't as nailed on as we would have maybe hoped. I assume you're talking about like how decent Villa have been and not the COVID situations at the moment.
The question mark over their fixture. Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, if there is a doubt, and look, geez, we should have started off this pod by saying we're recording this before game week 18 is even kicked off.
I gave the days. I was upfront and honest. I didn't want to draw too much attention.
Fair play.
Because I didn't want people turning off. And if you haven't turned off by now, it's a good time to subscribe. Maybe maybe do both. Who knows?
Yeah, and game week 18, if you want to hear more talk about that, then just check out last week's pod. Last week's pod, we discussed that. We do a free hit team for game week 18. But the focus now is on game week 19, just because that's going to come thick and fast after game week 18. There's no days to spare. Game week 18 finishes on Thursday. Game week 19 starts on a Friday. So we want to record this and have it ready for your ears to consume while you're watching game week 19. So we can't discuss what's happened in game week 18 form-wise, but we do know which teams are in form. And Man City's defense is definitely one of those form teams.
You're bang on. And their fixtures kind of lend themselves a little bit to the defense in the sense that Crystal Palace, I don't think anyone sees as massive attacking threats. And Villa, I'm pretty sure, are going to be happy to sit back. But what do you think are their chances of getting a clean sheet?
Well, they've got 6 clean sheets in their last 7, so that's leading me to think, I definitely want to get a Man City defender for those games. They're both home games. They're quite strong at home. You seem to be having a coughing fit there. I'm glad you muted your mic, Ger. But yeah, I definitely think there's, Crystal Palace's clean sheet written all over it. Aston Villa, not so much. But, if you got 1 clean sheet, possibly 2 there, I still think they'll get 2 clean sheets over those 2 fixtures. Kevin De Bruyne, I mentioned it. He's going to be my captain. He's pretty nailed. I just got to make the decision whether I go double City attack or double City defense. And you're still coughing about it.
I don't know where this is going to end. But we'll keep going. I think my eyes are pretty bloodshot.
I can keep talking about City. Let me pull up some of their stats. I know you...
I got this. I got tears in my eyes, but we're going to power through it.
You actually have tears in your eyes.
Oh, God. But, City.
We're talking about form real quick. Sorry, I know you're good. Take a sip of water. Talking about form, you sold Kevin De Bruyne. I know that's what you're getting at when you mentioned earlier. Had you known it was going to be double game week, obviously you wouldn't have done that. It was announced late. He didn't really have the form coming into it as well, and a lot of people sold him. But he's showing against Chelsea, really, especially playing as a false nine, and we discussed that in last week's pod. Really made people sit up and take attention again. So, yeah, he's starting to show a bit of form, and Kevin De Bruyne in form with good fixtures is something to be terrified of if you don't have him.
You're 100% right, and it does kind of leads me to my biggest dilemma of Game Week 19. So before Game Week 19, I had KDB and DCL, and I transferred out KDB and DCL to Rashford and Vardy, which is kind of worked out in the sense that, like, you know, it's balanced out.
And they still both
have double game weeks. It's balanced out so far points wise, but my logic was free hitting for game week 18, so don't need to worry about the Brighton match, which I don't need to worry about. But what I do need to worry about is, or what I didn't feel like worrying. Oh my God! I thought I could get through it. I thought.
Oh God! Mute your mic. You definitely got COVID, man.
Oh, man,
what is going on?
All week, but so essentially for me, it's like I'll just need to escape the Crystal Palace match, because Crystal Palace have been kind of tight. Hodgson knows how to play against a top. You're laughing because I'm.
Have they? They conceded 7 against Liverpool. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm gonna check.
Look, you know as well as I know. Hodgson knows how to play against the top 6. Yeah, it's not going to go right every time. I think Liverpool. I don't know if any FPL manager expected Liverpool to score 7 that fucking day, let alone Liverpool. Well, they did concede a lot. But my point was I need to skate the Crystal Palace match, and then I'm golden because Rashford had Liverpool, might get a Poxy return, and then he is Fulham. So that's the one I'm hoping for him to come in. But it turns out City have now added Villa to that, which when you consider how United performed against Villa, KDB being on penalties, fuck me, is that after throwing a spanner into my works, you know? So my dilemma, and for anyone who's stuck with us through this coughing fit so far, is basically I have 3 options. I keep it as it is. I go with the bed that I've made and I lie in that goddamn bed. I reverse my transfers and I turn Vardy into a cheap striker and Rashford back into KDB. Or, and this is the one I wanted to get your thoughts on, however biased they may be, but I wanted to know if excuse me, God damn it, I'm not restarting the whole goddamn pot, but
oh my God, you're gone again.
Is KDB
okay? Don't take a deep breath. Every time you take a deep breath, you get a coffee.
Trying to take sharp breaths. Was deliberately taking very small breaths there for the last 5 minutes. God. How long were we talking before I hit record? About 2 hours?
About 20 minutes.
Before I hit record. Yeah, and did I cough
2 hours.
pretty much at all during that time?
No. We spent way too much time prepping this pod.
So don't ask me what the fuck is after happening since I hit that button. But we're here now, lads. And if you're still with us.
Okay.
Katie, what was I even saying? I was based...
your option
so basically
KDB. And
is
your
now
third option
to go Robertson out for John Stones and turn Rashford back into KDB. It'll be for a -4, but it would give me City defense. KDB is a potential captain option, and I keep Vardy. which is a shit ton stronger than it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, like I can't imagine going into this game week without KDB. Um, I do like Rashford. I'm looking at him like, you know what, Fulham and Liverpool like are the sort of team that if United are going to sit deep and try and catch him on the counter attack. It may not work at all, but like Rashford plays on the left, Trent is defensively weak. Could come in off the left and try and get forward. He scored against Liverpool many times, so. Yeah, that's the sort of game that Trent could get a goal
Rashford,
in, and the Fulham game or Rashford, excuse me, yeah, and the Fulham game is another game where you could get a couple of goals. So if you could get KDB in while keeping Rashford,
well, it
that
would
would
be
be ideal.
KDB while keeping
But
Vardy, not Rashford.
yeah, Rashford, Vardy, then he's got Southampton and Chelsea. Yeah, fuck, I don't know, man. I kind of liked your idea where you were saying, yeah, Stones in instead of Robertson. I probably slightly prefer Stones, not Stones, Man City's fixtures and Man City's defense versus Robertson. But like Robertson then has attacking potential as well. Stones really has none.
What are you talking about? Stones just
KDB,
knocked
he's going to
United
offer
out of the
more.
fucking FA Cup or the Carabao
I
Cup.
know, but that was bad defending from Harry Maguire more than anything else, wasn't it?
We won't get into it too much, but I thought the nod, the deflection would have. I'm not going to look too critically at that set piece.
Yeah, but I think Maguire could have done better. He kind of
Whatever
didn't
you
really know
concede
what was
from set
behind him, just
pieces, it
left him.
needs to be criticized. So 2 goals from 2 set
Yeah,
pieces is a bit irritating for sure. But either way, like I think Stones, it added to Stones' kind of potential for the double game week. For me, he's sex
his
appeal,
sex appeal.
and I mean even more so was him not starting the FA Cup match this weekend and coming on for half of it, which to me shows Pep wants to keep him a little bit sharp. You could look at that as he played 45 minutes when he didn't need to, but for me it makes him look a bit like Pep wants to keep him a little bit sharper. So I don't know. Are you giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for that KDB? It's a -4 by the way, so it's Rashford Vardy out for KDB
Yeah.
Stones, or Rashford Robertson out for KDB and John Stones. Thumb up or thumb down?
Oh, it's like that. It's like Tom sideways. It's like this could
You're the
go either
Caesar.
way.
You need
Yeah,
to
like I
choose.
could easily see. Jeez, I'll let you hang yourself. So I'll say thumbs up. When in doubt, I try and say just stick with like if you've got two options and both seem kind of this going to have the same outcome, or there's a high chance they're both going to have a similar outcome, but one's for a -4. I would say stick with what you have. But yeah, as I said, the thoughts of going without KDB. Look, I've captained KDB 3 times this season and he's done nothing.
Yeah.
He's got me some returns when I've captained him a couple of times, but a lot of other times he's done nothing for
Yeah.
me.
In
So
this
yeah,
situation, I've kind
if
of tried to look at maybe a little bit beyond game week 19. So
do you do you have
no,
any
I've no
City?
city. I'm cityless. That's the thing. So
I I'd nearly get rid of. No, I was going to say. For a moment, I was going to say I'd nearly get rid of Salah, but no, I think I would get rid of
no, I ain't
Robertson.
getting fucking rid of Salah at home
Look,
to
getting
Burnley.
rid of
Would you fuck
Robertson.
off?
Yeah, getting rid of Robertson and Rashford. You'll still have Bruno, so Bruno's probably enough coverage there. You'll still have Salah, so that's probably enough Liverpool coverage there, and you'll have double City. And City's fixtures going forward are amazing. That's kind of part of the reason why I think you might be able to kind of
But
go for
it's
this
the
move.
West
I think
Brom
I'd probably
match
do that
in
move.
Game Week 20, and for those on YouTube, you can see that I've included Game Week 20 alongside 19 because it's worth it's relatively worth considering, obviously, and West Brom away is a pretty decent fixture for KDB. We did see what West Brom did not so long ago against City, holding them to a 1-1 draw. So a little bit worrying. But yeah, Seamus, tell me about United versus Sheffield United in Game Week 20.
United against Sheffield United game week 20. Well, like that's another reason why you want to hold on to United. You're getting rid of Rashford for that game. A home game against Sheffield United, you can imagine them putting easily 3 or 4 past them in that one. Arsenal, okay. Arsenal beat United 1-0 earlier on in the season. Southampton, Everton. Yeah, it's so hard to predict United. Like when it comes to United, I'm just happy to just sit on Bruno,
I'm the
if I'm
same.
completely honest. Yeah. I mean, like if I wanted to, the only one I could really think of to get in game week 20 would be get rid of Son to get Rashford in. And maybe you could argue Son's games are better, but Son likes to play, or Jose Mourinho likes to set up teams against the big teams with a kind of counter attack. He likes to do it against any team anyway. But like they seem to play better, at least they did a few weeks ago, in those top kind of tier games, rather than playing a team who sits back and has a low block. So the fact they've got Liverpool in game week 20 and Chelsea in game week 22 and City in game week 24, those games could actually be better for Son than Rashford against some crap team. I like Son has done brilliant for me anytime I've had him, and I've sold him unnecessarily. I just think I should just
Yeah, I'm
stick
sticking
with
with
him.
Son. I mean, like he's probably the only single game week player that I will be fielding in game week 19. So I've
Same.
no massive issues. I mean, Sheffield United is a plum fixture for Spurs, you know, even if it is away. But they've looked pretty miserable this year, and I'm completely fine holding on to Son, especially for those who've invested in him early. Like, there's a lot of value in there, and I'm not shipping that out for one game week. The Liverpool match the next week, as you said, it's obviously going to be a lot more concerning than the Sheffield match, but I'm happy to, like, we saw what Spurs did against City and Chelsea when they had that tough run. You particularly kind of noticed what happens when you get off Son, if I'm right.
I can't see myself moving off of my current midfield anytime in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks anyway. Salah, De Bruyne, Fernandez, Son, and Soucek. That's your power midfield there. I'm happy to stick on that. You were on that for quite a while. It did wonders for you until you decided to sell Son for Rashford.
I never
Yeah,
saw Son for
and
Rashford. How
uh,
fucking dare you?
or so you sold De
Yeah,
Bruyne
and
for
it
Rashford. Excuse
didn't
me,
turn
my
out arseways. I
apologies.
still stand by that.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't bit you in the ass or anything like that. But De Bruyne has now seemingly, or Man City have seemingly turned the corner and found a bit of form, and they're coming into nice fixtures too. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't think as much as I think Rashford has got good fixtures, I think I'm just happy to just have
Yeah,
the
100%.
Bruno coverage there rather than
No, I'm
betting
with you,
against
and I
City.
think that's like it was kind of a smart ass move of me at the time. I had a lot of transfers built up, and this fixture change was like, okay, I'll this will be my bit of fun for the double game week, and now I'm not feeling so funlicious anymore. But I got your screen up, or your team up on screen there, Seamus, and it looks pretty much set for the double game week. You have, you know, like all like 11 playing twice. So have you any plans?
So no,
Sorry.
Son is the only one that's
Yeah,
not
sorry.
playing twice. Yeah, 10 are playing twice. So, but as I said, there's a potential doubt about the Southampton fixture now because was it Shrewsbury that they were meant to play, or was it Scunthorpe?
Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury. They had yeah, Shrewsbury. Their FA Cup game against Shrewsbury was postponed because of Shrewsbury had COVID. Now I fully expect McCarthy to be back by game week 19, but if one of their games gets moved. And that's all going to depend on the outcome of, I think, like the FA Cup draw or something like that. If that fixture is going to fall into the game week 19, they're going to might have to move one of those fixtures. Ben Crellin is the guy to check out for this. He has all the permutations, and I don't think he actually has physical odds on his
He's not a
spreadsheets,
betting club.
but he saying the likelihood of things to be moved. But there are certain permutations that could work out. That means Southampton only have one. If that's the case, then I've got Adams and McCarthy, and obviously Forster as well, who've only got one, and that would be a shame. Um, Maybe I want to change one of those players. Then, as I said, maybe I can't even afford Adams to Antonio. I'm
But in
just off of
general,
that.
your
So
whole team
I
looks
don't know what I do
pretty
again.
like you've been building towards this. You've obviously decided I'm not bench boosted necessarily. I'm just hitting this game week 19 free and easy. 11 players, 10 players playing
Yeah,
twice.
yeah. Yeah, and look, if Adams only plays once, maybe I'll play Justin instead. Justin has two. As it stands, Justin's on my bench. Justin has 2 games. Um, yeah, Southampton and Chelsea at home. Not the easiest. I don't really trust them, but like Justin got his first goal recently. Unfortunately, it was
Was
in the
that
FA
his
Cup.
first goal?
Well, his
It
first
was a
goal this
cracker
season,
as well.
anyway.
I didn't think it
Wasn't it?
was.
Oh no, actually, you know what? He did. He scored an earlier one, but his first goal in a long time
Yeah,
since game week 2.
he
He
had a
did score and
mass.
get
It was a
this.
massive haul, FA Cup wise, and yeah, hands are up. You should be a little bit ashamed of yourself. But in general, I think the point that I was trying to make is that your team is set up, which is kind of weird considering we're recording this essentially before game week 18 has even had an impact, and you're set. So obviously, barring some horrific.
How many times have you said you're set? Are you just trying to jinx me? Is that what it is? It's like if I say you're totally set up, you're all set enough times, the universe will come down and give
A
one of your teams
spanking, yeah.
COVID.
Well, I mean, look, I can't be wishing too much bad on you because our teams are very, very similar. I have mine up on screen there as well, and like we're going with the Robertson Salah double up. We got Fernandez, Suchek. Son's our only single game week player. Justin's in there. We got some West Ham.
Bamford.
I got Leeds, the goalkeeper. You got McCarthy. We both have Bamford, and you have another striker that I don't have up on my screen right now. Adams, as you said, yeah. But you also have
Adams.
KDB.
Yeah.
So like our teams are, with the exception of like maybe a little premium player switch there, i.e. KDB and whatnot, they're very similar. So we're both ready for it, and I don't know. I mean, what does like is that got you spooked out? It's got me a little bit spooked out.
No, no, not really. I'm just kind of focusing on my own game. What I like to try and focus on the mini games a bit if we're closer, but you're so far ahead of me. I'm just gonna have to wait until and that's probably one of the reasons I've fallen behind as well. I started making moves where I was like, what moves would Jern maybe not make? And what moves will differentiate me a
The
bit
bastard.
more from Jur's team? And just made my team worse for it. When is what I should have done is just like what moves are going to get me up the rankings. And as recently I've started making those decisions, and it's been getting me up the rankings. Into the top million now. What did I say? I'm at
Yeah, but it wouldn't be
650k. Was
fucking
that what
hard,
I'm at?
Seamus, considering how
Um,
far you had fallen, sir.
yeah, but I was hovering outside the 1 million mark for about 4 weeks there because of these backwards moves. It moved a couple of steps forward, a couple of steps back, and then finally it burst through the ceiling. Now I'm in a position to hopefully kick on. I'll be disappointed after my free hit if I'm not in the top half a million. And then after the double game week 19, I want to be in the top 250k. Those are my goals. It's hard. The later in the season it goes, the harder it is to climb make those large rank jumps. So, I mean, ultimately, like if I'm honest, the sooner I get to like the 100k mark, the better. But those are my goals now. 500k by 250k in 2 weeks. So gain 400k rank. That's what I want to do. Probably ambitious, realistic. Who
Mm.
knows? Probably not. But that's my ambitious goals, and I'm not worried that our teams are the same. I'll look at it and reassess closer to game week 30 if where you are in the league ahead of me, and then I'll decide. Right, maybe I'll start changing my team up a bit more. I'll let you come down to me rather than me having to worry about coming
Yeah, that's
up to you.
probably the best approach to take with that one. I mean, I'm with you. I don't think mini leagues should really be coming into people's consideration before Christmas anyway. That's always been my kind of approach. It's like get yourself up there as high as you can, and then you got to, eventually you'll ask yourself the question of, what do I need to do? Do I need to make that mini league move, or do I need to play it safe and keep my overall rank relatively healthy? I've always played the mini league way, but I think game week 19 is coming a little bit too early for balls to the wall, if you will, where you're like, no, fuck this, I need to go with what the
Yeah.
opposite is. But double game week 19 is looking like a decent. What?
I Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that there's a lot of truth to what you say. I think the seasons I do best has been when I've just focused on my team and my OR, and I think the season I've done worst is the season I focused on the mini league, my mini league rivals. The seasons I fucked up, and I like there was one season there I was top, and you passed me out, kind of close to the very end. It was like
Three.
3 or 4 seasons back, and that was me watching what you were likely to do and trying to go, trying to do my own thing and just thinking about your team a bit too much and not thinking about my own team
Not
and what's
trying to
good
do
for
your
my
own
rank.
thing, but trying to
And
play
that's,
someone else's game.
yeah, yeah. And the seasons, like the following season, I think I was in a similar position, or maybe it's the season after, and I just went, no, and I just focused on my OR and I just pulled away further from you in the end. So that, like, I think that works out better. If I could ask you one question, I would love to know who your captain is going to be this week. If you get De Bruyne in, would he be your captain? Or even if you took the hit to get him in, would you still
Yeah,
go
I
for
mean,
somebody
it's a good
else?
question. I was hoping it was something that we could smoothly segue into, but I mean, now is a good time as any. And yeah, fucking. See, that's the big thing. If I take a hit for KDB, I will make him my captain. Just because, like, why would you take a -4 for someone if you genuinely don't think he could perform savagely over those 2 weeks? And I mean, when you're considering, in my instance, taking out two players who could easily equal the points of the two players you're getting in, then you need to be, hoping for a big haul. And that's what I would be hoping for a little bit with the Crystal Palace and Aston Villa fixtures for City. I think he's still on penalties. It'll be a big talking point when Aguero and him are on the pitch again, as it always is. But the last time they were on the pitch, he took the penalty. And yeah, I'm going to assume they're still on penalties. So a home match against Crystal Palace and Villa, yeah, I think I probably would captain KDB. But if I don't go with that option, if I don't decide to take the -4, then I think I'll probably be going with Bruno. That would be my thing. Yeah,
Bruno,
I
really?
think
Okay.
again
Because
he's on penalties. Sorry, Seamus. He's
oh
on
the
penalties,
yeah.
and his away form is just insane. What about you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I was going to say, they're both away from home, but then again, Bruno's away form is immense. So yeah, turnaround time. You're talking Sunday and Wednesday. So like game week 18, United play on Tuesday the 12th. Then it's Sunday the 17th, Wednesday the 20th. So there's a plenty of recovery time between those games. Bruno is a penalty taker, as is Mo Salah. Mo Salah's and De Bruyne seem to be the players that are predicted to score the most points this week in terms of expected points. Certainly on the Fancy Football Scouts
I
rate my
just,
team, but
I just don't think
also
Seamus.
in
Like,
other
I
algorithms
mean,
as well.
maybe you can relate to this here, or maybe I'm being stupid, but I like to have fun with FPL in the sense that I like to just play it the way I want to play it, not necessarily the way I think is the optimum playing strategy. And I don't think I want Salah as
Mm.
captain going up against United in the first. It's simple as
Yeah,
that for me. I'm like,
we're United fans. Yeah, that's the thing. I'd rather
yeah,
support Bruno. We know what Bruno can do, and we know how good he is away from home. And as you said, Liverpool. The only thing about Liverpool is I'm surprised to learn that Salah is expected to do so well in these fixtures, because yeah, look, they're both home games, and we know how good Liverpool are at home. They've actually been terrible away from home. I think they've only won two games, and yeah, they recently lost the last game to Southampton away. United at home surely isn't going to be the cakewalk that it may have
well,
been last season.
but I
It's not
think
going to be
like
as
last season, didn't we get results against Liverpool? Like, isn't that the thing? And didn't we
uh,
already draw with them this
I
year?
can't even. Yeah, I can't even recall the specifics, but Liverpool at home last season were just like
Yeah,
steamrolling people. I don't know if we did get a result. Oh no, we the only
yeah.
one that
I'm
like
pretty sure we're the
got
fucking.
any result. We got a
We got a
draw against them
1-1
last
draw against
season.
Liverpool
Uh,
when no team had even failed to lose.
yeah, and then they went nine. I think they went 19-1 and
Yeah,
0
I'm
at
not
Anfield
worried.
last season, I think. But yeah,
It is
it's
a
a
tough
tough
game, but you're
game,
not. You
but
can't
United can
be
do it.
overly sold on Salah for that game. Like outside of the penalty taking, that's going to be a tight game. Simple as that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was like
Yeah.
James Milner scores a goal in the 88th minute from a fucking deflected shot outside the box, and it's 1-0, and United don't come back, and boom, there we go, 1-0. Robertson gets his
Mm,
clean sheet,
maybe, but
and I just die.
Salah has been positioned very far right recently as well. He hasn't been getting a lot of the ball, and I've heard people whispering, has he fallen out? I'll be interested to get your thoughts on this. Yeah, Drew mentioned on the Renegades podcast last week, and it's because it had been mentioned in some kind of group chats that we're both in. People are afraid to pass him the ball or don't want to pass him the ball because they're out with him. And there's a lot of rumors that he wants to go to Real Madrid. He doesn't feel like he's getting enough love at Liverpool. I don't
heard
know
all this
if
shit,
he's holding any weight.
I'll wait until that really shows on the pitch, because right now it isn't. Do you know? I mean, he's still, one of the top scoring midfielders. I don't know. I think it's people are looking for things in his performance. I think Liverpool as a whole have been playing far poorer, and I'm not going to put that down on Salah. I think he hasn't looked. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't looked as sharp as he did at the start of the season.
But he was poor before
he wasn't.
that, man.
Why did you then go from Mane to Salah?
He fucking was. Because he was scoring points regardless of the fact that he was poor. I was watching him going, he looks fucking... Some games he's looked good, okay? It's not like he's a fucking terrible player. He's like one of the highest point scorers in the game this season, and he has been the last couple of seasons. But he seems to get points regardless of playing well or not, like a fucking penalty here and there and stuff like that. That penalty against Fulham was extremely lucky. Anytime I bet against him because I haven't been impressed with him, he still punished me. So I'm like, well, look, this is killing me, so I'm just going to have to get him in and suck it up. He's done nothing for me in the 3 weeks I've had him.
They've been literally the two...
2 points captain.
Those two, Newcastle and Villa, was it Newcastle and West Brom? Those two matches have sunk his people's optimism in him. And I mean, for you, going from Mane to Salah, I get it, but you just said it. He gets points regardless of whether he plays well or not. And
yeah, it's his. But his performances. This is how I play the game. I go. I don't like this guy's performances. I'm going to start betting against him because sooner or later.
That's not how you play the game, man.
He hasn't been playing. That's what I was doing, but I had to kind of go right. If I keep playing the game this way, it's going to sink me. I'm my rank is plummeting anytime Liverpool do anything because of this. And that 7-0 game was just like the straw that broke the camel's back when he fucking came off the bench.
No, sorry,
whatever.
Villa. I was thinking of Villa.
Yeah, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back because he didn't even start and he came on and my Mane had a goal and an assist and it still ended up being junk compared to Salah. So I couldn't win. So I was like, look, just for protection, I got Salah purely for protection. Don't even really like Salah. I don't feel confident captaining him. It's certainly not in Game Week 19. I would almost be like yourself. I'd nearly consider Bruno as my vice captain in that one, apart from De Bruyne. I think it has to be De Bruyne for me. If I didn't have him, probably throw it on Salah just to be safe. As I said, protection pick. But
so who's your captain's armband on right now?
After 3 blanks.
Yeah,
De Bruyne. I have De Bruyne. So it's going to De Bruyne. And it might be a triple
that's
captain.
The big question, isn't it? There's a lot of people going bench boost, triple captain, play it safe. I'm probably going to play it safe just because there's a lot of the season left. And
I might go Bamford.
You won't go Bamford. You don't have the balls to go Bamford. You don't even have the balls to keep Salah out of your team. Well, I mean, you went from Mane to Salah twice this year. You've done Hazard countless times. You're a backtracker. It's what you do. It's what you do, Seamus. I dare you go Bamford.
I should have just stuck with Salah all season and just put him in there and just be a lock all season.
Exactly what anyone should do.
Yeah. But I was trying to play the game. Forgive me for trying to play a game and trying to have
This
fun.
isn't a game. This is life.
This game doesn't reward fun or risk taking. It seems. I remember a time it used to reward risk taking, but not anymore. Now it's all just about get Salah, captain him every week, and then at the end of the season you'll have more points from that than changing your captain every week. Fucking dull as dishwasher shit. But I'm gonna have to do this because otherwise my rank absolutely tanks. Especially considering I've been betting against Spurs most of this season, and they've been kicking ass. So what can I do? I gotta have some sort of shields in my team, some sort of protection.
I feel like you're venting now, Seamus. I don't know what Spurs has to do with Salah.
You provoked me into it.
Yeah, rightly so. You need to have a long fucking look at yourself. In regards to the Salah Mane shit, this isn't acceptable from a title winning contender like yourself, James. Does that even make sense? Title winning contender. You've got no. I am trying to play a little bit of head fucking with you right there. I mean, cool. Go captain fucking Bamford against Brighton and Southampton. Do it. You know, like triple captain the cunt. It's like, why not? It's Leeds creates so many chances. His XG is so high. Why the fuck would you not?
I'd nearly be more tempted away if they were away from home. At home, they seem to be.
Wait and see how they get on against Crawley Town. Oh no, wait, they lost 3-0 against Crawley Town with a relatively strong team out, might I say. So, like, yeah, no, I'm definitely not fucking Captain Bamford. Maybe if I'm in the sub 2 million rank right now, where, look, the chances of getting a decent fucking... And this isn't you, by the way, this isn't the thing at you. But, like, the chances of getting a really respectable rank are getting slimmer and slimmer by the week, because it becomes easier and easier to see who the points getters are. Maybe I would be looking at a Bamford, because I think Leeds, just their sheer attacking capabilities against Brighton and Southampton, could easily result in a minimum of a return and a half for Bamford. But no, I think go for it.
I'll tell you what, though. Leeds Southampton, I can't wait to watch that game. That's going to be a cracker of a game. They're two teams that try to do very similar things, but in kind of different ways. They like to press the ball a lot and attack. I don't know what way that game's going. That could be a really interesting game, and that's on what's that, Wednesday? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that night. Oh yeah, well, that's gonna be a cracker of a night because United Fulham's on immediately afterwards, as is Man City Villa. Oh, I can't wait.
That's the thing. I'm actually really looking forward to this double game week. Afterwards, maybe not so much. Maybe I'll be like, fuck FPL. I'm done with this for at least 3 more days.
I mean, maybe. Definitely.
But before we wrap this up, Seamus, because we're nearly done, there isn't a lot to do tonight. We've no Drunk Tank, we've no mini league. This is just game week 19 specific. And the way we're approaching it and what we're thinking about, we're kind of shooting the shit a bit here. But any maybe outliers, differentials, puck fadas, as we call them. Did you see our article on the Scout, Fancy Football Scout this week? I got
Scout Academy.
I got puck fada in there.
Yeah. You were going for I saw that, and it had to be translated for the non-Irish readers.
That wasn't them. That was me copy pasting the English translation.
You're big on Phil Foden. I see.
Yeah, I think for the purpose of the article, I'm big on Phil Foden. I think for the purpose of this podcast, I'm big on puck fada, because that got a shout in the Fantasy Scout. Maybe I aim for small things. You know, I'm a simple man, Seamus, as the Lynyrd Skynyrd song goes. And speaking of simple men, is there any differentials you're looking at this week?
There's plenty, but not that I don't think I'm going to go for. But I mean, as you said, with Man City's fixtures, we just mentioned the defenders and De Bruyne. You know, we haven't and the defenders go for obviously Cancelo, Diaz, and Stones. Those are the most nails. But you know, there's all these other guys. Sterling is still he's probably not a differential, but he's still very, very lowly owned. In terms of, you know, if you wanted to go against the
FPL talk and gossip, he's definitely a differential. He's a sleeper right now. You know, he's not.
If he shows any form in game week 18 against Brighton, then you know you got to be looking at him in Crystal Palace and Aston Villa as well. You know, someone like Bernardo Silva. He's he hasn't got any goals or assists this season. You just can't be.
Or that he will get a return.
If it was on a free hit. Yeah. No, but if it was if you were free hitting this game week, there's probably very few people that are free hitting in game week 19. But it's not a terrible idea to try and load up with 15 double game week players if your team was in a bad position and you had front loaded to get a team out for 18. Then you could try someone like that. But I think I'd probably go for Bernardo Silva over Foden, if I'm honest. He started the last 3 games in a row, 90 minutes, and he scored 2 goals in the FA Cup game at the weekend. So, but he did play 90 minutes. So, will his minutes be managed? Mahrez is the other one.
Is that what you said?
No, I just think I think Mahrez and Silva probably will outscore Foden.
How much do you want to bet? Foden also scored tonight, by the way. Yeah,
Fuck
exactly.
Foden.
Yeah, fuck Foden.
Sick of people fucking creaming
Yeah,
up Foden.
I mean he's got
Mind
a
Foden.
manky
No, I don't care.
haircut. I'll say
Foden,
that
Foden,
much.
Foden.
Even herself and Doris commented on that. She was like, "What a rat bag haircut," and I said, "Yeah, he does look like a little knacker, doesn't he?" And then I went, "Of course he fucking does. He plays for City, filth." But yeah, there we go. Little rat bag Foden with his 6 odd million is guaranteed to be the highest scorer for that double game week. What else have we got left to talk about before I go insulting anyone?
Any single game week
Outside of
players you
Son,
like
outside
from
of
like
Spurs in general?
yeah Arsenal against
No,
home to
no,
Newcastle, anything like that? Strike your
no.
fancy? No, you haven't really
Or
mentioned
Chelsea.
Leicester.
We
Do you
haven't
have high hopes
missed.
for
Like I
Vardy?
have Verdi because I think he's someone I've ignored a lot this year, and I at times I've justified it, but looking at last week and looking at his just overall returns, I'm going, nope, you're wrong. It's like he's just the same striker he has been for 2 or 3 years now, and anything more detail in that I feel is a little bit overthought. I think he, you just got to look at his returns. It's what convinced me to go to Vardy. I would have never have done Vardy over KDB if I'd known about the double game week. But like looking at Southampton home, Chelsea at home, Vardy on penalties, Chelsea being shit, Southampton in general are someone I'd expect Leicester to put a fight up to. So yeah, I mean.
Well, they did beat them. What was
Yeah,
it, 9 9
I
1 or
mean
whatever score it was?
that
I
was
can't even
nice. That
remember
was
the
a
score.
massive one. I'll give them. That was last year though, so that was kind of the turning point, I believe, in Hasenhutl's reign. Yeah,
For Hassan.
was that defeat. So I'm not gonna rub that in their face, but I think Vardy, he's a solid pick. For me, I don't think there's the premium options for those free hitting and for those who already have KDB and don't have Vardy. I don't think there's a space for the extra Vardy spot. But for me, I'm going to probably go with that -4 and go KDB and Vardy and Suchek. He'll be my diamond in the rough. And Fernandez and fucking Son and Salah. That's probably going to be the way I play it and go fucking premiums out the wazoo. But single players, as you said, Seamus, no. In general, for the double game week, I don't have any. There's no need to have any. Leeds are so cheap. They have 2 nice home games, Brighton, Southampton. Was I saying Leicester a while ago? No, Leicester, Southampton, Chelsea. Leeds, Brighton, Southampton. So cheap between their defensive options. Bamford. Rafinha is offering. Rafinha, Harrison, Click to a certain extent is offering options. Value. Yeah,
value
exactly.
if nothing
but
else.
I would rather go with Suchek as my value and then pump everything into the premiums because there's just no reason not to at the moment. So I'm just going with like Leeds in terms of striker, defense. So fucking cheap. I mean, Strike has played the last few matches. Cooper's back now, so you don't want to be dependent on him. But if you're fucking in a bench boost there and it's a 3.94 million defender, and he really makes another position click, no pun intended, then yeah, maybe a Strike. I did him the week he started for 40 minutes after being, or 45 minutes. No, 30 minutes after being named by Bielsa. I got him in. I was like, grand, sure, my other defender's injured. And yeah, he gets subbed before the halftime whistle because of the yellow card. So, I don't know. But either way, Leeds offering crazy value for money. And so do Burnley. If you know. What?
But with players coming back for Leeds, Alioski's place might be under threat now again because Dallas could be pushed back to left back again if they get Cooper and stuff back or Llorente back in centre half. So you don't know who's going to play where. I said you could have Luke Ayling playing right back again instead of centre half. So yeah, the things are likely possible to change. So I don't know. That's just something if you're an Alioski owner, because he's somebody who's looked quite good. I've just been wondering when is he going to lose his place.
I'm with you. I think he's very, very suspect defensively, which is maybe okay in Leeds's in the Leeds team, but I think that's probably why he isn't always their starting left back, and his few goals there over the last few weeks probably won't make up for that. Especially, was it himself to give away the penalty against Spurs, be it inside the box or outside the box?
Yeah, that was a bird
A
brain
little
moment
bit.
making a stupid tackle like that. Even
It
though that
was
looked like it was outside the box.
and there was controversy over where you start the frame, where you stop the frame, and all that shit. But that was outside the fucking box. I don't care what anyone says. Either way, that's a Meslier owner saying that was outside the box. So maybe there's a bit of unconscious bias or very conscious bias right there. But whatever we say right now, it'll end up Neto scoring 20 points in the double game week against West Brom in that one match. You know,
no doubt.
Before we
No
wrap
doubt.
this up, my amigo, have you any last things you want to say? Any nasty details you want to share with the audience?
Nothing other than just make sure you like, rate, subscribe to our pods. You know, you'll find us on all the usual platforms in Apple this year as well. And if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe to the channel. You know, we can be found on Twitter at FPL Hangover, and I'm at FPL Drunk. And as always, emails are open as well. If you want to email us, fplhangover@gmail.com.
100%. Yeah, I'm with you. And as far as this episode goes, like the coughing at the start, if that fucked shit up, my apologies. That was not planned, and that was insane.
That?
Like,
Where did
I've
that
been
come
talking now for half an hour, a couple of bits here and there, but like in general, that's the worst I've been. I think I don't fucking know. I don't give a shit either. It's done now.
It was like you expelled the ghost of Michael Collins there or
Man,
something.
anyone
while we
watching
were
this
talking.
is laughing their balls off because I'm on YouTube, fucking busting a gut coughing that off. I'm glad I went off camera for some of the shit I
Right.
needed to do. But yeah, I do apologize for that extreme lack of professionalism. Otherwise than that, also going forward, like fixtures are fucking crazy this year. So anyone like myself or you know any other podcast out there trying to do fucking shit, it's getting fucked up. It's why we're recording this on maybe 2 days, 3 days earlier than anyone should ever be looking at the double game week. But it's got to be done, and it's something that's been planned for. You know, it's been in the ether for several weeks, and you know we've been looking at it, and we're ready for it. So this is there for any of ye who are ready for it. Simple as that. But you know, coming up, there are lots of game weeks and midweek games and stuff. We're gonna get one out every week if we can, but you know, maybe the time. Seamus,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying here.
Sure, game week 20 is on starting on a Tuesday. So obviously this game week 19 is going to end on a Thursday, the 21st. That's the Liverpool Burnley game. I propose we pod either that night or Friday to get a pod out pre
That makes
game
sense.
week 20.
This is exactly what I'm saying. So like, I mean, we most likely will do the Thursday. You said was the Burnley Liverpool match. Yeah, that makes the most sense. I kind of like doing a podcast at the end of it's Spurs Liverpool. Is it the Thursday? Yeah, I kind of like doing a podcast at the end of a game week with the last match in the background because it adds a tiny bit more attention and it doesn't take away too much. But regardless, it's still coming out on the Thursday. You'll hear it on at the earliest on Monday, and the new fucking game week is it's there. What did you say on the what week?
Yeah, so Thursday 24th, you look at the wrong week. Thursday 21st is Liverpool Burnley, and that's the final game week of the double game week 19. So if we recorded that's going to be out for Friday. That gives people a weekend to mull it over before
What kind
game
of
week 20
shit
starts.
is that, Seamus? Do these fixture maker-uppers even consider what the amateur podcast is doing?
They definitely don't consider the content creators
Assholes.
out there, no.
I don't know
Bastards.
who's a bigger ratbag, them or Phil Foden. But I've given him an awful doing tonight.
Yeah. I thought you liked him.
I like him as an
I thought
FPL asset, as a human being. Not so much. He looks like a shit. But hey, that's Manchester City for you. That's the Blues.
That's your bias, man.
What?
Yeah, we're both. This is where this is coming
pretty
from.
much. This is the second bottle of wine I've cracked open. But we will leave it there. Seamus is giving all the nasty details. I will offer ye the best of game weeks in 19, and I'll see you on the other side, lads. God bless.